Oh, just a quick side note. I also just wanted to say the supplies needed for this experiment would be, in my case, 3 water bottles, ice cubes, as well as a glass cup and a bowl to hold the ice cubes. Um, and you want to use purified water specifically because it doesn't have any, imperfections or impurities for nucleation to take place prior to you performing the experiment. Hi, Professor. Travis White-Velez here. Just setting up for this week's advanced interactive concept presentation. Just so you see as we're getting started, I will be putting my 4 water bottles into the freezer. They will be in the freezer for approximately 2 hours and 45 minutes. And I will be back then to give you some details and to explain what's going to happen with this experiment. So, as I'm going to put everything in the freezer, stay tuned. Okay, so I have one of the water bottles. I'm going to hit it and it should freeze. And surprisingly, that actually worked. Stay tuned. There is going to be another step that I'm going to do. Give me one moment and I'll be right back. For this one, I put the ice out of the ice tray into the bowl, and we should see if this also works. So far, it's not working. Yeah. So that part of the experiment is a fail. I will be right back. I'm going to clean this up, and then I will explain exactly what happened when I hit the water bottle and it wasn't frozen, it wasn't frozen prior to me hitting it. And then when I gave it a little bit of force, it all froze. I will be right back with that momentarily. Okay, so now that I have conducted the experiment, I will first explain why what happened, and then I will explain why only a portion of my experiment actually worked. So in this case, the water is cooled at a temperature that's actually below freezing, but yet it's still in its liquid phase. That is because this water is pure water, in theory, and because it's pure, there's nothing for the water molecules to attach to and to create that like crystallization or that crystallized structure that we see when water freezes. So in this case, we have something called nucleation. And nucleation is a process where molecules in the liquid gather and arrange themselves in a crystal-like structure. So the way I thought of it, or to kind of explain the definition a little better, was to think of nucleation as you have 2 matches and you strike one match and then you hold it close to the other match. The unlit match at some point is going to catch because there's a site or a source of energy. In this case, the nucleation took place in the successful part of the experiment when I punched or tapped the bottle. That extra force that I introduced created a site for nucleation to take place. So then you saw the crystal structure start to form. What should have happened when I also took the second bottle of water and poured it onto the ice, you should have gotten the nucleation point should have been when the water touched the ice and then it kind of built upon each other. However, I don't think my water, in that case, I had taken it out of the freezer, so I think it kind of dropped increased its temperature slightly. And in the case of the water or the ice cube freezing into the water, that did not happen because that water bottle just had completely frozen. So the variables in this case obviously were clearly human error. But I hope I did a good job of explaining, what nucleation is and how nucleation happens. Again, the reason only one out of the 3 parts of my experiment was successful is because of human error, and also the one that was successful was the one I took out of the freezer first and just did the experiment. One water bottle stayed in the freezer too long, and then one water bottle sat on the countertop too long. With that being said, I hope everyone has a great evening. Stay well and be safe.